दिवस का दिन भारत और ब्रिटेन के व्यापारिक रिश्तों के लिए बेहद ऐतिहासिक है। दोनों देशों के बीच बहुप्रतीक्षित फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट यानी कि FTA जो है वो आज से आधिकारिक तौर पर लागू हो गया है। और इसके साथ ही आपको बता दें कि इस समझौते के प्रभावी होने के साथ ही आयात और निर्यात पर लगने वाले टैरिफ को लेकर के भी बातें सामने आ रही है। आपको बता दें कि इसके परिणाम स्वरूप ब्रिटेन से भारत आने वाले कई विदेशी उत्पाद अब काफी सस्ते दामों पर जो है वो मिलेंगे। इस ऐतिहासिक डील को लागू करने की आधिकारिक घोषणा पिछले महीने में ही कर दी गई थी। और इसके साथ ही आपको बता दें कि इस FTA को लेकर के अगर हम बात करें तो इसके क्या फायदे होने वाले हैं वो भी हम आपको विस्तार पूर्वक बताएंगे। दरअसल विदेश व्यापार महानिदेशालय द्वारा जारी जानकारी के अनुसार इस मुफ्त व्यापार समझौते का सबसे ज्यादा फायदा ब्रिटेन स्कॉच और विस्की इंडस्ट्री को मिलने जा रही है। यानी कि वर्तमान में भारत में आयातित स्कॉच विस्की पर 150% का भारी भरकम टैरिफ लगता है, लेकिन FTA के तहत इस ड्यूटी में को कई चरणों में घटाकर महज 40% तक लाया जाएगा। इसका सीधा मतलब यह है कि आने वाले समय में भारत के अंदर स्कॉच और विस्की की कीमतों में 110% तक की बड़ी गिरावट जो है वो देखने को मिलेगी। भारत में दौड़ेंगे ब्रिटेन की सस्ती लग्जरी कारें, यानी कि इस डील के तहत देश के ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर में भी बड़ा बदलाव होने जा रहा है। कोटा व्यवस्था के माध्यम से लग्जरी कारों पर लगने वाले टैरिफ को 100% से घटाकर 10% कर दिया जाएगा। इससे ब्रिटेन की जगुआर, लैंड रोवर, एस्टन मार्टिन, रोल्स रॉयल और डिफेंडर जैसी प्रीमियम कारें भारतीय बाजार में कम कीमत पर उपलब्ध होंगी। इसके साथ ही आपको बता दें कि पहले साल में कम ड्यूटी पर कुल 20,000 कारों का आयात किया जा सकेगा। इसमें से पेट्रोल और डीजल इंजन वाली 10,000 कारों पर कस्टम ड्यूटी 110% से घटाकर 30% रह जाएगी। वहीं अगर हम दूसरी ओर आपको बात करें तो 1500 से 3,000 के बीच की 5,000 कारों पर ड्यूटी 66% से कम होकर 50% हो जाएगी। अगले वर्ष यानी कि अगले 15 वर्षों में इसे धीरे धीरे घटाकर 10% के स्तर पर लाया जाएगा। यानी कि FTA जो आज से लागू हो गई है, इसके कई सारे फायदे जो हैं वो आने वाले दिनों में मिलने वाले हैं। कारों और शराब के अलावा ब्रिटेन से आने वाले कॉस्मेटिक्स, ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स और अन्य उपभोक्ता सामानों की कीमतों में भी नरमी आएगी। वर्तमान में इन उत्पादों पर 22% तक का आयात शुल्क लगता है, जिसे या तो तुरंत प्रभाव से हटा दिया जाएगा या फिर 10 साल की समय अवधि में धीरे धीरे शून्य कर दिया जाएगा। ब्रिटेन के बाजार में भारतीय सामानों का दबदबा बढ़ेगा। यह डील सिर्फ ब्रिटेन ही नहीं बल्कि भारतीय निर्यातों के लिए भी मुनाफे का सौदा है। भारत UK FTA के लागू होने से भारत के कई उत्पादों को ब्रिटेन के बाजारों में शून्य शुल्क में मतलब जगह जो है वो मिलेगी। पहले जहां टेक्सटाइल और कपड़ों पर 12%, बेस मेटल्स पर 10% और केमिकल्स पर 8% की कस्टम ड्यूटी चुकानी पड़ती थी, वहीं अब 99% भारतीय उत्पादों को UK में जीरो ड्यूटी यानी कि 0% के तहत निर्यात किया जा सकेगा। इससे भारत के कपड़े, जूते और कई तरह के खाद्य उत्पाद वहां आसानी से और किफायती दामों पर बेचे जा सकेंगे। दोनों देशों की अर्थव्यवस्था को मिलेगी इससे रफ्तार। यानी कि इस व्यापार समझौते से भारत और ब्रिटेन दोनों ही देशों की अर्थव्यवस्था को तगड़ा बूस्ट मिलने वाला है। ब्रिटिश सरकार के अनुमान के मुताबिक भारत के साथ इस FTA की बात करें तो इसकी वजह से FTA के कारण ब्रिटेन की अर्थव्यवस्था में 4.8 अरब पाउंड का इजाफा होगा, जबकि वहां के लोगों के वास्तविक वेतन में लगभग 2.2 अरब पाउंड की वृद्धि देखने को मिलेगी। ब्रिटेन सरकार इसे भारत द्वारा अब तक लागू किया गया सबसे बड़ा और व्यापक व्यापार समझौता जो है वो बता रही है।
यह स्वागत योग्य कदम है। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की जो वैश्विक नीति है या हमारे भारत की जो वैश्विक नीति है और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का व्यक्तिगत संबंध और संपर्क है, जिसके कारण कई मामलों में भारत आगे बढ़ रहा है और आज से FTA लागू हो रहा है, जिसके कारण कई सामानों का मूल्य भी कम होगा। यह स्वागत योग्य कदम।
Commissioner Kank, would this facilitate more foreign direct investment into India? Does this agreement takes care of that? Would there be mechanisms in place for dispute resolution to sort of ease the minds of British investors when they think of India as a market to invest long term in?
Yes, I mean it's again a very good question. We used to have an investment chapter in our FTA structures. We, under discussions with the government of India, removed it. And we removed it because it was felt that that belongs in a different ministerial responsibility, i.e. the Ministry of Finance. So it shouldn't really be overseen in a Ministry of Commerce and Industries treaty. And so it was removed. Now, when we did a consultation of the UK before we went into FTA negotiations, we get a wish list of what everybody wants. Whether it's ministers, whether it's industry, whether it's stakeholders, right at the top of it was investment. And what is it that can be done? It was at the time of Vodafone and Ken and all these things were up in the air. And people were sort of saying, well, you know, for us to companies, I come from a private sector background, if you remember. I don't know if you know, I worked for a big pharmaceutical company. Yeah, I didn't want to name them, but yeah, that one. Yeah, I was with them for 30 odd years, and big companies make risk assessments by themselves to say where is the return versus the risk, and people are making their judgments on India based on return on risk. It's a huge growth opportunity, and just a few months ago, I was at the inauguration of one of the large UK healthcare companies setting up a new site in Madhya Pradesh, new manufacturing site, a couple of £100 million worth of investment. They've taken that call and said, yeah, it's a good place to go. Now, what we were hoping for was to do in parallel with the FTA was a bilateral investment treaty. We used to have one, which was, should we say, annulled or terminated in 2017. That would have provided some degree of protection for future investments. And so that hasn't been completed in time. It will be a work in progress still. We will carry on trying to achieve something in that area, because I think it will make a big difference that companies that have a little bit of reservation might then be feeling a bit more secure, and probably works both ways. You know, there are a lot of something like 1,000 companies have invested in the UK from India.
Yep.
And huge amounts of investment. In fact, India's been the second largest investor by projects for the last 4 or 5 years after the US. So there's a huge Indian interest to make sure there is some degree of protection investment for them. So a bilateral investment treaty is still something which we're keen to progress at some point. But right now, we are where we are.
We are meeting today just to briefly talk about India-UK CETA, which gets into operations from tomorrow, midnight of today and tomorrow. The entry into force of India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, we call it CETA, and the Double Contribution Convention on the 15th July 2026 is a defining moment in India's trade history. This is one of its first FTA of its kind, which establishes a future-oriented economic architecture between the two major economies of the world. This is also one of the most ambitious and aspirational FTAs of India, which we are operationalizing as till date. If you look at, we call it a gold standard and first of its kind FTA because of its wide sectoral coverage and deep reduction in both tariff and non-tariff barriers. The 30 chapters across which negotiations have taken place under this agreement extends well beyond conventional tariff liberalization to cover digital trade, government procurement, effective government procurement for the first time, SME, innovation, labor, environment and gender. It addresses both tariff and non-tariff barriers, and at the same time it addresses non-tariff through SPS and TBT measures that do not become unjustified trade restrictions for our businesses in future, while it also safeguards the India's sensitive sectors and areas like dairy, cereals, pulses, vegetables, gold and jewelry, smartphones, critical polymers, etc. So, in our perspective, this is deep, aspirational, one of its kind FTA, and at the same time brings in a good balance by protecting the sensitivities, deep sensitivities that we have got in some of our sectors. I will just touch upon the Double Contribution Convention, Agreement on Social Security, which is also a game changer for our services sector and skilled workforce. Indian employees and their employers contribute around 25% of salary to UK's national insurance system. Their contribution is like a tax of 25% as employees are unable to draw benefits. These are like sunk costs. DCC will ensure that worker will not need to pay double contribution towards their social security. They will benefit over 75,000 Indian workers and over 900 employers by exempting Indian professionals and their employers from these contributions in UK who stay up to 5 years. They can make these equivalent contributions in their social security accounts in India and get exempted from paying the same in UK. This is a big victory for our services sector. It will make our services sector more competitive, and at the same time I think it helps them recover and make good lot of the sunk cost which was there in the past. I think like every agreement there is a lot on trade facilitation and ease of doing business also, but one of the firsts that we are doing in addition to the EFTA agreement again here is the self-certification of rules of origin, which makes it more business friendly and easy for businesses on both sides. This also shows maturity in our regulatory architecture for trade as we go along. I think this is also a very inclusive agreement because there's a lot of access for farmers also, Indian agriculture also in this premium market. It's a big agriculture market of $90 billion wherein we get very deep access in some of our key potential areas. Even marine food, our fisher folk are also going to benefit in a big way by seafood exports. Our exports will get a complete duty exemption in this market. Workers gain new employment opportunities because of opportunities in the labor intensive sectors where duties up to 12% are now coming down to zero as a part of this agreement. So I think it's quite an inclusive agreement which provides for our farmers, fishermen, workers, and even women entrepreneurs, youth, startups and MSMEs. They also receive improved access to global value chains. Professionals also benefit with very enhanced and predictability mobility commitments and recognition opportunities. So all in all, it is a win-win proposition for both sides, with India, I think, taking a leap with this agreement in terms of the extent of market liberalization that we have negotiated and width of policy areas that we have negotiated as part of this CETA